I was trying to, wrap my head around the physical size of this data dump.
It's huge.
We hear millions of pages, and it just sounds so abstract. But if you actually stacked these legal records, these flight logs and memos, I mean, you're not looking at a briefcase.
No, you're looking at a library.
Yeah.
A library where, half the books have pages torn out, or at least heavily inked over.
Right.
We're talking about the Epstein dossier, of course.
Right. And usually when we start a deep dive, we're trying to find a clear narrative. But with these sources, the narrative feels more like this chaotic, sprawling map.
It is.
So I think our job today is to really figure out the mechanics of this release, why it's coming out now, what's actually in it, and why it feels so fragmented.
Fragmented is the perfect word. Because when you parse the source material, you realize this isn't some single cohesive report.
Not at all.
It's a Frankenstein's monster of defamation suits, criminal investigations, and civil complaints, all sort of mashed together over years.
So let's get into the specifics of that. Everyone always talks about the flight logs.
And they're important.
Yeah.
The flight logs give you the who and the where.
But the depositions, the legal stuff, that seems to be where the real weight is.
That's the how. That's where you see the machinery of the whole operation. But this is also where we hit the biggest friction point in the documents.
The redactions.
Exactly. The infamous black bars.
Yeah, and it feels like every single time the text starts getting specific about a new name or, a graphic detail, the ink just comes out.
It's incredibly frustrating for the public.
It is, isn't it? We want transparency, but what we're getting looks a lot like censorship.
But is it censorship, though? Or is it protection? That's the core tension the sources really highlight.
What do you mean by that?
The courts aren't just trying to hide powerful people, at least that's the official line. They're legally obligated to protect non-parties and, crucially, the victims.
So we have this collision. On one hand, you have the public interest. We all want to know who was involved and to what extent.
And on the other hand, the privacy rights of people who never, ever asked to be part of a global news story.
A balancing act.
Precisely. The source material frames it exactly as that, a balancing act. If you unseal everything, you could potentially re-victimize vulnerable people.
But if you seal everything, you protect the perpetrators.
So the court is trying to thread a very, very narrow needle here.
But does that approach actually work for accountability? Because reading through the analysis, it feels like the sheer volume of data, combined with all the redactions, almost creates a kind of smokescreen.
Sure.
It's like transparency that's actually really hard to see through.
That's a valid, cynical take, but if you look closer at what is revealed,
Okay.
even with so many names blacked out, the sheer scale of the network is just undeniable. The documents verify this was not an isolated bad actor. It was an institutional failure.
That's the bigger picture point from our notes. It's not just about one man. It's about the whole ecosystem.
Right. And the files raise these really serious questions about how justice operates in real time. You see the legal maneuvering, the settlements, the way the system was gamed.
Oh, this isn't history.
No, that's the active part of this archive. It's a blueprint of how accountability was dodged.
And that's why the scrutiny is so intense. This has to be one of the most dissected document releases in modern U.S. justice.
Oh, absolutely. Every single page is being turned over by journalists, lawyers, internet sleuths, everyone.
It forces us to confront the scale of the failure.
It does. But it also leads to a pretty difficult realization. We often think that, more information just automatically equals more truth.
But in this case?
In this case, the deluge of millions of pages might actually be distracting us from the core issue.
Which brings us to the big question to leave you with today. In an era of massive data dumps where we get millions of pages that are simultaneously scrutinized and censored, does this sheer volume bring us closer to true accountability?
Or does it just make the truth that much harder to find in all the noise?